Wait. That's a classic. Hits after hits.
You are rocking out over there, Joe.
Yes.
You are rocking out. Oh my gosh.
So I honestly didn't know which hit to start off with. So I went online. I was like, just pick a random one because you got hits. So
Exactly.
before I even start, I just want to say happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. I had a wonderful birthday. Oh my! I couldn't even get through all the birthdays to thank each one of the people. There was I had over 1,100 birthday wishes. Every year it gets more and more and more. So I'm so thankful. It was a wonderful birthday.
So with quarantine going on, how did you celebrate?
Well, I don't quarantine. I don't care what nobody says. I still get out of the house. That's a whole lockdown, a whole society controlling human beings and all that stuff. And then they inflate the numbers to make it seem like COVID is just everywhere. And then I get on an airplane and I'm sitting right next to somebody. There's no 6 feet on the plane.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I'm smart about it. I wear my mask as much as possible, but even then I keep my nose uncovered so I'm not breathing waste all day long, you know, stuff like that. But I went to the drive-in because they have a drive-in theater out here, and that is my favorite pastime. Yes. Oh,
what movie did you watch?
One more time?
What movie did you watch?
Drive-in. I watched. Well, I watched one, and then I snuck into the other. You can drive. You can drive anywhere you want. And I want to say, what did I see this time? Let Him Go, which is a Mel Gibson movie. Let Him Go. I'm sorry, it's not Mel Gibson. It's Kevin Costner. And then I snuck into another movie and just watched something random.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a movie buff. I am like that. Hey guys, everybody's here. I see them all coming in.
So before I even start this interview,
yes,
I want to start off by saying that since I'm interviewing a legend right now, I'm going to start off by giving you your flowers right now, okay?
Oh, man,
so
this
is for you, okay? Because you deserve your flowers right now. Yes.
They are beautiful. Thank you so much, Joe. Yes, I love orchids. And actually, orchid is my favorite flower first. My very first job was I was a florist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I know flowers very well. And yeah,
so I picked the right one for you.
You sure did. Yes, orchids are beautiful. Yeah, they are. That's my favorite flower.
Let's take it back to 1989, Oakland, California.
Okay, let's do it.
So how did you meet Sydney, Maxine, and Terry?
At the audition. They were there. So I had met Maxine years before. She had done my, she was doing hair in a hair salon. She was braiding. Okay. She's an avid braider. Like, she braids so fast, like 1 row, 2 rows. She's fast. And she was braiding hair. And then the owner of the salon found out that I could sing because of the person that was doing my hair. Yeah. And he called Maxine over, and she turned around and he said, yeah, Maxine, this girl is saying she could sing. Y'all need to sing something together. So we can't decide what that song was. I think it was If You Play Your Cards Right. And then she thinks Don't Let It Go to Your Head by Jean Carn. So to this day, we still argue about what it was. But yeah, that's the first time we met. And then all the other girls, Cindy and Terry, had met each other on a Carl Lewis project. He was doing an album, and he didn't want to just be a runner. He wanted to also do music. So they were introduced with each other, and then they sang background for his project. And then Maxine and I, Maxine knew Cindy in the Bay Area, but I don't think that in the Oakland Bay Area, but I don't think she actually met her until the audition. And I had never met Cindy. I had never met Terry. So that's how we all kind of knew each other. Terry had never met Maxine either.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we're going to take it back because at that particular time, I couldn't go to the record store, so my mom went for me. So on April the 3rd,
Wait a minute. Wait. Now, how come you couldn't go? You couldn't. Why?
I couldn't go unsupervised because I was young at the time.
Oh, I see. So, but you could go with your mom if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So my mom went to the record store on April the 3rd, 1990.
Oh my God!
For your debut album. So let's talk about that. So your debut. Born to Sing. Let's talk about the whole recording process,
Oh
because that
my
was your
God.
debut album, a groundbreaking album. And
It
by the way,
was.
the 33rd Grammy Award, they did you guys wrong because you deserve that Grammy Award.
I thought so too. I really did. You know, we can't win them all, but give us one at least. You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
had 7 nominations. I just have to first, though, let me go back. Your mom went to the store April 3rd. How do you know that date? Like, that's phenomenal.
I'm a music connoisseur, so I love music. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Mom. Thank her. Please thank her.
I will.
Please tell her I said thank you. So yeah, I agree with you. We did deserve a Grammy. We had 7 nominations, and they always give you like this medallion to commemorate that date that you were nominated but did not win. So it's like this reminder of, yeah, you were almost there but not quite, you know. So now it's up to me to win a Grammy by myself. Heck yeah.
So your first time at the studio and you're recording, which you didn't know at the time would end up being a classic album.
Right.
What was the thought process at the studio, you and the other 3 girls, like all in the studio for the very first time?
Well, we were just having fun. We were just recording. We had no idea. We were happy that we had a deal. We were signed to a major label for the first time in all of our lives. You know, this was like, wow. But once we were over that, we just got to work. We got in the studio and we started recording. And I don't even think that Hold On was the first song. Well, no, it wasn't, because the audition, Waiting on You was the first song.
Right.
So we already had that in the can. But yeah, we just started recording music, and Desire may have been the first song that we recorded. I wish we documented. Today we would have had it documented, you know. Yeah. Hey guys, we're in the studio. This is our first day, and this is, you know, we don't know what's going to happen from here, but we're so excited. We're a new group called En Vogue. That would have been like, you know, the perfect picture.
Right.
To set up. But we just kind of just got in and got to work. And Denny, based on the audition, Denny kind of put our vocals in the places that he did. And Maxine says that she has a higher voice than where he put her. But to me, she sounds warm. Her tone is very warm on the bottom. And I think that's why he did that. She has kind of a Stephanie Mills feel to her voice, and we would always make her sing Stephanie Mills. And anytime we were with her in the car or on the way to, I don't know where, we would just make her sing Stephanie Mills songs if it was on the radio. And yeah, we just got in and just got to work. Like I said, you never know. I don't care who it is. You just never know if you're going to actually succeed or not. It doesn't matter who your record company is or who your manager is. You don't know if it's going to succeed until it's out there and the world says, yes, we like you. You know what I mean? The world has to tell us if we're popular or not.
Right.
If we have what it takes or not, you know? So the record company took a huge chance on us, and Denny and Tommy again took a huge chance on us. And then it was huge. I mean, from there, it just blew up. You know, that album blew up.
So when the album took off the way it did,
yes,
how did you guys celebrate?
Oh my God. Well, we were pretty much on the road. I remember our manager bringing, like, as you say this, I'm seeing it in my mind. He brought us I remember him bringing our first album to the studio to see the cover was done, and it was getting ready to be out, and it was wrapped in plastic and everything. It was like, oh my God, we were screaming, and he opened it up so we could see the actual album, and we held it and we're looking at it. And then I remember him coming to the studio again, or to rehearsal. It was rehearsal. And he said, you guys your song is #1 on the charts. So we're, again, screaming, mayhem, passing out. It was, it was amazing. I mean, all of those moments were, again, today they would have been captured on everybody's camera, you know?
Right.
We would have been doing selfies and all kinds of stuff, you know, taking pictures of each other. And yeah, it would have been that moment. But it was just, he documented it. He told us about it, and we were like, wow, we are #1 on the charts. Yeah. So that's how we just. So
this is a monumental question. Where were you when you first heard your song on the radio?
Oh my gosh, I was in the bed. I was sleeping. It was 6 a.m. My stepdad had gone to work. and my mom came running in the room. She was getting ready for work. I didn't have to be at work until 10, so I was asleep. I was like comatose. And because we were still working, even though we had a song on the radio, believe it or not, we were still working. The money wasn't there yet. Still never really came, but you know what I'm saying. We weren't on tour. And my mom came running in, and she said, I could hear her on the phone getting closer to our room, my sister and I. My sister was gone. She was moved out. But she was getting closer to the room, and, okay, we are right now. And I'm like, huh? You know, you wake up in a panic. Ah, what's going on? And she came running in. Dawn! She opens the door. Dawn! Turn on the radio. She's trying to get my stereo on, and I had the stereo stacked. I had all these pieces. She couldn't find the button to turn it on. And I'm like, Mom, what is how? What? Trying to wake up, and she said, your song is on the radio. And I'm like, ah! I jumped up. I put on the radio, and we tried to turn it to the station. I think it was 106 or 102 or whatever, KBLS. No. BLS is in New York. We had whatever the station was in Oakland. I can't think of it right now. And yep, sure enough, it was on the song. It was on the radio, and it was almost going off. And we caught it at the very end. And then Leslie Stovall, who was the commentator on the radio that day, she said, "Yeah, we have a new group, En Vogue," and we were like, my mom and I were screaming and jumping up and down. I know the neighbors downstairs were like, "Really? Really? It is 6 a.m. in the morning." You know what I mean? Yeah. But that was that moment. We just celebrated. It was amazing.
So most artists, they usually don't surpass the sophomore jinx, but you guys took it to another level.
We did.
2 years later, you released Funky Divas on March the 24th. So the pressure, like the pressure was high. So how did you guys?
I cannot talk to fans, you guys. I'm talking to the commentator who put the show together. The fans are like, Dawn, you got to talk to the fans. I can't. We got to talk to each other first. So let's do this. Let's do this, Joe. We'll give the last 10 minutes for everybody to ask their questions.
Of course.
Is that okay? Because they expect me to talk to you, look at the comments, talk to them at the same time.
This is your platform.
Thank you. This is your show, Joe.
No. It's my show, but you're the star.
Oh,
so,
thank you. Thank you so much.
There would be no show without you. So this is your platform. You paved the way for me to actually sit here right now.
Exactly, so, but you, and I have to say this seriously, you gave us a platform to be able to speak on. It's like the fans know who I am, but I haven't talked to them, and I talk to social media and all that stuff. But you give us a way to express ourselves a lot more. So I thank you as well. So it goes both ways, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. Coming from an icon, that means a lot to me.
Okay, yes, exactly. Yeah. You're welcome. What was your question to Tanya came in all rude?
Yeah. So on March the 24th, your sophomore album dropped, and it like you found the sophomore jinx.
I love the fact that you know the dates. Oh my God.
Oh, have to.
That's amazing.
Because I'm not walking in a room with an icon and not know my facts.
Okay, that's right.
Because to me, if I didn't do my research, that would be an insult to you.
Thank you so much. You got me excited all over again, like our album just came out yesterday. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Well, you produce a classic, so it's timeless music, so I can play it and it still sounds dated.
Exactly. Thank you so much. That feeling, oh my gosh. We might have been, let me see, so if April, you said your mom went and got the album?
Yes.
And then the single came out March 4th, you said?
No. So your debut album dropped on April the 3rd, and your second album, your sophomore album, dropped on March the 24th.
March, wow.
In 1992, wow. 2 years later.
Exactly. So that's crazy that they didn't target the dates at the same time, but I guess they knew. En Vogue already has a fan base in place, so we can wait. Well, no, it was earlier than the year prior. Wow. Because April was Born to Sing, you said, and then March was of 2002 or 2001. Lord, 9,000.
No.
1990?
1992. So 1990 was your freshman album, and 1992 was your sophomore.
Exactly. Dates. It was monumental. because by now we knew, okay, the people love us. We have fans. We have been around the world. This album is going to be even more fire. I wasn't sure if Never Gonna Get It was going to be as big as Hold On, because Hold On was so different on the radio. There was nothing else on the radio like it. It was so phenomenal. And to hear our vocals, that harmonizing in the beginning of, you know what I mean? And and then the beat kick in like that was so different. It was so different. So was cute, but it wasn't. That whole beginning of Hold On was so phenomenal. It was just genius. It was genius. And so I just didn't know if we were going to win the same way. I loved Never Gonna Get It. You just never know. You never know what's going to win. And for instance, with Lucy Pearl, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but with Lucy Pearl, well, with Lucy Pearl, Dance Tonight was really huge here in the States. They loved it. Everybody loved it. But overseas, it was not so good. But overseas, yeah, Don't Mess With My Man was massive. Beatles.
Oh. It
was like the freaking Beatles. When I toured with En Vogue in 2009, we toured for that whole entire year, working up to our 20-year anniversary, which was 2010. And we went overseas, and when we were in Dublin, Ireland, and you know, we had done all of our hits. We only have 5 hits, believe it or not. Never Gonna Get It, Hold On, Free Your Mind, Don't Let Go, and Giving Them Something You Feel. For En Vogue. And then with Lucy Pearl, we have 2 hits, but one is bigger in the States. Like I said, Dance Tonight was bigger here. Don't Mess With My Man was bigger overseas. And so En Vogue was in Amsterdam. We went to Rotterdam, Paris, London, Dublin, Ireland, and Cork, Ireland. When we got to Ireland, we had done Don't Mess With My Man, right? At all those other countries that I talked about. When we got to Dublin, Ireland, I was on stage with the girls, and Terry introduced me, Dawn Robinson, formerly of En Vogue, Lucy Pearl. She's going to do a few of the hits from Lucy Pearl is what it was. And I was like, I only have 2 songs, but okay. And when she introduced me and that song started, I could not hear the band.
Oh.
I literally had to walk over to the drummer to ask him the time. No, Mr. Man. I had to ask him the timing of the song because I was looking at the girls, and they were like, we don't know where we're at, because we couldn't hear. The crowd, the audience was like, the building was shaking. I was like, oh my God, it was amazing. And I think that's because Lucy Pearl hadn't gone over to Dublin yet, or Ireland at all. So this was their first time seeing me, and they lost their minds. They lost it. They just lost it. I was like, oh my God. I looked at the girls, and they were like, we don't know. So I literally walked over to the drummer, and I was like, where are we? And he's like, da, 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 da. Like that. He had to time me in. He had to time me in because I couldn't hear. They were so loud. So Lucy Pearl was even bigger than En Vogue over there in Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing.
Well, since we talk about touring, so let's take it back to 1993. Never Let Me Go tour with Luther Vandross. So what is this room? So what was going on? Because there's so much stories that's floating around.
Yeah, well, Luther had a problem with women. To a certain point. I'm not calling him out, but I love Luther. He's first of all, yes, let me give him that first. Consummate professional. We watched his show every single night. Didn't matter how much abuse he gave us. We watched him to learn what it is to be professional, to have it down every single night, to put in just enough to change the show for the city prior, but still to stay focused on what he came there to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we watched him and learned every single night from this man. But yeah, he didn't like us very much. He felt like we signed a contract that we agreed in that contract not to wear red, black, blue, or white.
Oh, so those actual things are in the contract?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, Joe. Yes, yes, and yes. That we couldn't have we couldn't wear anything, even earrings. He said that picked up light or sparkle from the lights.
Yeah.
Nothing sparkly or shimmery. I mean, we are En Vogue, so you're talking about sequins back then.
Right.
You're talking
From
about
Divas.
Divas. Thank you so much. But he said we had a meeting with him probably about, we got tired of the bad write-ups. Our fans were writing, you know, we can't see them on stage. He wanted our whole band on, he would do a theater in the round. So
Yeah.
within that round, he would have, how can I explain it? I don't have anything circular. So at a certain point on the round stage, he would have our drummer, our keyboard player. I'm sorry, our drummer would be in the middle. So our keyboard player, our guitar player, our drummer in the middle, our another keyboard player, and a bass player, right? So you're seeing a half of a crescent. You're seeing all the band members.
Right.
So since the stage moves so slowly, you would only see maybe one of us every now and then, because we were on the front of the stage. Our band was on the back of the stage.
Right.
You know what I mean? But because the stage moved so slow, you would see one of us every now and then. So they were writing us up. The newspapers in every city was like, En Vogue was, if they were up there, we didn't know it. We couldn't see them.
Wow.
The fans might as well have stayed home and listened to them on the radio because we couldn't see them, or listen to their records on the radio, their CDs, because we couldn't see them. So we were like, oh my God, we can't get bad write-ups like this. And they were saying that our clothes were dull. They were wearing brown, orange, yellow, everything, because we couldn't wear black.
But not knowing that it had nothing to do with you guys.
Exactly. They didn't know that it was not our fault at all.
Wow.
So we asked midway, we asked Luther Vandross if we could put our band in the pit. Now, every theater, this is why he liked the round theaters. He could work the round stage a lot better, and it was only him and his girls. So he could walk anywhere he wanted to on that stage, and they would all see him. He would, you know what I mean? Everywhere he wanted to go, they could see him. So we asked him midway if we could put our band in the pit as well. Would you mind if we do that? He said no.
Oh.
So we decided that we were going to go in one of the cities. We recorded our band. We recorded the whole show all the way down. Everything from beginning, from the top of the show to the end. And we said, okay, we're going to send our band home. We're going to pay you guys very well. And we're going to send you home because we can't have you guys out. In fact, I think what we tried to do first, if I remember, is we had the band there, but we took out their instruments. In other words, so we took out, we had the drums there, but we scaled them down. Just a snare. It was a snare, a hi-hat. It was three pieces for a drummer. Kick drum, a snare, and a couple little pieces, right? But we got rid of his amp. We got rid of the guitar player's amp, the bass player's amp.
Oh,
any
wow.
equipment, any equipment that went with there
just to make space,
to scale it down. So now you can see in between each, you got the drummer here in the middle. You can see us in between. The keyboard player is here. We're here. The drummer's here. There's another girl here. You know, in between each musician, we had our places, and we had to kind of configure our show to fit that.
Right.
And then we were getting bad write-ups for our clothes. So like I said, we were orange, yellow, pink, any color. Yeah, ugly stuff. It was ugly. It was, I got to say. Anything. Who wears brown on stage? Who does that? Who does it? Like, we were wearing brown, and we were like, okay, you guys. So when we got to Dallas, Terry said that there's a mall coming up in the next city that we have to go to. We got the record company a few cities before because we had to get approval from them, and I think they got like $40,000. Cindy, Terry and I Maxine and I had to stay at the hotel to do press.
Yeah.
Cindy and Terry went to the mall, and they brought these Versace boots back. These Versace boots were thigh high. When I tell you they were sexy, and they were like, Dawn, you are the only one that can wear these boots. Like, because they got this see-through kind of mesh leather or suede jacket that went to kind of like just past the knee. And I had, the front of it was open, and I was damn near naked. But we had to bring sex back. We had to bring sexy back. Right. I mean, it was that. And they said that Luther Vandross was in the store as well. Yep. Oh, so y'all are buying some new clothes. I Oh, see, y'all got, wow. And he picked up the boots. He saw them sitting there in the box, and he picked them up, and he asked them in Versace if they had a size 42 for men.
So did he wear it on tour?
He didn't, of course not. No. Bless his heart. No, I wish Luther could have had lived the life that he really wanted to. But yeah, he asked for those boots. Now, these are things that happen, so I'm not calling him out. I'm not putting him out, but on Front Street. But yeah, he did that. And they heard it. They heard him ask. Yeah. It was right in front of the salesman right then. Luther was right there. So they kind of had to sneak all the bags and put them in the car while they continued, because he was in the mall at the same time. This was a mall that had Prada, Gucci, Versace, Dolce & Gabbana. Oh, it had every top of the line. It was the premier mall. It's the one that you don't go to because you really can't afford it. Like, you go to the ghetto mall across the city, but you do not go to this mall because it costs so much. So yeah, and when they brought the boots back, I was like in heaven. These boots had buckles, gold buckles, all the way up the front. They were so amazing. They said that they spent over $1,200 for them or something crazy. But they brought those boots back for me, and I was like, yes, y'all, yes, indeed, I will wear these boots. So speaking of fashion, so we started to get better write-ups because of that, because our clothes were better. And the mall outlet, no, Tanya, it was not the mall outlet, but we looked amazing. We looked amazing.
So speaking of fashion, do you still own any clothing that you wore for an En Vogue music video, tour, or anything?
The only thing I do have is my skirt and top from the Funky Divas album. That we kind of had a sepia tone outfit on, and the pinstripes and all that stuff. So that's what I still have that. But the red dresses, which were phenomenous for, or what is the word? Famous for. Infamous, I was gonna say. But we're famous for the red dresses.
The red dress on Giving Him Something. That video.
Yes. I don't have that. All of like the Never Gonna Get It dresses now, they're in the Smithsonian Institute. So the Smithsonian has the silver dresses from Never Gonna Get It. And then across the street, across the highway from that in DC, the African American Smithsonian has the red dresses. Which is such an honor. Such an honor. Yeah.
Well, you worked hard for it, so you deserve it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Joe. Yes, we did.
So the industry and your fans, we all took a hit when you left En Vogue.
Oh my goodness.
Because you were the spice within the group.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
So what led to the departure?
Oh gosh, where do I start? I am so surprised that anybody doesn't even know this by now, because I've talked about it. I'm so glad that you're still interested in even hearing it. But we have to go back a little ways. So Terry, between the EV3, what became the EV3 album, and so we did Born to Sing, we did Funky Divas, and we did Runaway Love, all under the same deal. We got 2 pennies a record for the first album per girl, 2 pennies a record for the second album per girl, two pennies an album for, it was really not even a third album. We did Runaway Love, was kind of like an EP. So I think there were 8 songs on there, if I remember correctly. An EP is just a few songs. It's not a whole full album, 11, 12 songs like typical. So for that album, it was remixed to Sing, and I think we only had 1 new song, which was Runaway Love. In between that album and doing the EV4 album, they asked Terry to do a solo album, because they knew that the record company knew that we were going to renegotiate our contract. We were fed up. We were tired of the 2 pennies a record. This has to change.
Right.
And now, and fast, before we lose these girls. In fact, we knew at that time, we had found out that we were free and clear from our producer's deal. Our production deal with our producers, I should say. Yeah. Denzel Foster, Thomas McGowan. So we had agreed, the 4 of us agreed, that we were not going to do anything with the record company until they renegotiate our contract. When they renegotiate our contract, then we'll go ahead and start recording. You give us more money, we'll go in and sing. Cindy agreed, Maxine agreed, Terry agreed, I agreed. We're not going in. We're going to sit it out. You guys pay us more money, and then we'll see you soon. And we folded our arms and waited. In the meantime, we found that the Terry was in the studio with our producers. Yes. So we called her there because we had just agreed that we were not going in the studio. What are you doing at the studio?
Right.
And she said, well, I don't agree with you guys. You know, me and Denny have our thing. They were dating. Our producer was dating Terry, which we thought was absolutely adorable because he was hot on her. Little Southern gal, you know what I mean? He thought she was so cute. And we thought it was cute that they were together. So we didn't have a problem with that. But wait a minute, Terry, so you're in the studio, even though we just agreed that we weren't going to do that.
Right.
Well, yeah, you guys can go ahead. Like, I don't agree with you guys and what you want to do. I'm not with it. Because we had talked about the terms that we wanted and the things that we wanted to do. Right. And she didn't agree. Which now, as I think about it, I swear right now I'm having an epiphany. I think that she didn't agree with us probably trying to leave our producers. We wanted to keep them producing us, but we didn't want their deal in the middle. I think that's what happened. I think we wanted to be directly signed to the major label, which was Atlantic Records. Instead, we had a production deal. So it was Denny and Tommy, which was Too Tough Enough Productions.
Yeah.
So it was En Vogue, Too Tough Enough Productions, signed to Atlantic Records. So we had this middleman. Too Tough Enough Productions was in the middle of us over here, Too Tough Enough over here, and Atlantic Records over here. And we wanted them out of the way. So it could just be En Vogue, signed directly to Atlantic Records.
Right.
And if you guys want to, you know, if you guys want to produce a song on the album, we would accept that because you guys gave us our biggest hit.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. At the time, it was our biggest hit. But you gave us huge hits. Never Gonna Get It. You gave us our sound. We are in vogue because of you guys. We're not trying to cut you out altogether. We just want a direct relationship with our major labels so that we can deal with them ourselves and get paid without you guys in the middle.
Exactly.
Exactly. So once they found out that we knew the up and up and we knew what was going on, they came to Terry and said, Terry, let's do a solo album. And got in the middle of us, and it caused a divide and conquer. It kind of put a division between us and Terry. The three of us over here, Terry over here. And it was a mess. So what ended up happening, let me see. So Terry did her solo album. It was about maybe 7 months. I'm sorry, about 7 months. She had a single out. They gave her a video budget. They put out a video, like a single from her called Wherever You Are, a beautiful song. Her album was done. It was on the shelves. She was getting ready to start touring. She did a show in Los Angeles at a place called the Pantages Theater. And Cindy, myself, and Maxine went and supported her. And then maybe about a week or two after that, I got a call from the record company saying, Dawn, why don't you do a solo album next? Now, it had been months, like I said, since Terry said she wasn't going to be down with us, and I'm trying to hold on to my house.
Right.
So when the record company came to me and said that they wanted to do that, I said, yes, absolutely. When? Did I say yes too quick? Because because Cindy was comfortable because her husband played for the Cincinnati Reds, and I think at that time he was just getting ready to leave. They cut him from the team, and he went second string, but he was still in Japan making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Maxine and I were kind of sitting there with no money, and I'm like, Max, I'm going to lose my house. Like, seriously, I'm going to lose it. Yeah. While we're waiting for Terry to do her thing, and she's on the road making money hand over fist, we're sitting here because we, as the three of us, could not figure out, okay, if we go to the record label, they're going to be like pissed off. They didn't sign the three of us without Terry. They signed 4 girls, Terry included. So when she's over there, we're going to wait for her because she's part of the group.
She's doing her solo project.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So while she's doing her solo project, we're just sitting ducks. And I was like, no, I can't have this. So we got to figure something out. So over the months, we talked and talked and talked. What are we going to do? And Cindy was on the fence. Because I was like, let's just go. We're out of this deal. If Terry's over there doing her thing, then let's see if we can get an attorney to look at the fact that we're out of this deal. Or how can we get out of this deal? It's not fair that Terry's over there doing her thing and she's making money and we're sitting still. We have bills to pay. We got fans too, and we're sitting. As long as we sit here, we are getting cold. In other words, the fans don't see us, so they don't know. There was no social media back then. We couldn't say, hey guys, we're still here. This is what we're waiting for Terry and we support her. It was none of that. So we're, in the meantime, I was like, let's figure out if we can get off this damn label. And when the label found that out, they came to me. Dawn, why don't you do a solo album? Okay. All right. What I regret is that I didn't tell Maxine and Cindy that I was doing that, because that was not, yeah, that was bad business. But I felt like Terry hadn't told us that she was doing anything. She just went in and we called her on it. She was in the studio recording when we called her. Terry, what's up? Why are you there? What are you doing? She didn't tell us, hey, Cindy, Terry, I'm sorry, Cindy, Dawn, Maxine, I'm doing the solo album. She just did it. So I felt like, well, hell with her. I'm just going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I feel you.
It was still sneaky, and I take accountability for that to this day. It was wrong. It was absolutely wrong. There's no excuse for what I did or didn't do. I should have told the girls, this is what's up. The record company came to me, and I hope you guys don't mind, but I'm going to go ahead and do a solo album. And I didn't do that. So I regret that to this day, but I don't regret anything else. Because had I not done that, I would have lost my house sooner. I ended up losing it with Lucy Pearl, but I would have lost it sooner. So let's see. So Terry, so I was in the studio maybe a good 4 months. The record company was like, okay, Dawn, we know that you're recording your solo album because we gave you the deal. But we're going to pull you out of the studio right now. We're going to put your album on the back burner, and we'll get to it later at some point. But we're going to do an En Vogue album right now. And I was like, no, the hell you won't. No, you won't. Because you put out Terry's album. You took her seriously. You put out her album. You didn't put out mine? I don't understand this. And she said, well, I love the song Healing. Sylvia, I'm talking about Sylvia Rome. I was on the phone with her. She said, I love the song Healing. I think it's beautiful. Like that's a good song. You did a great song. But right now, my higher-ups are looking for that revenue that I get with the En Vogue album. And I haven't had that in a couple of years now. So we're going to pull you out. And I was like, no, you won't. I need to. Okay, so I will do the En Vogue album on the contingency that you let me go as a solo artist. Let my solo rights go, because each of us had, within our contract, each of us had a solo right to do, a right to do a solo album, which is why Terry was able to do that. I was able to do it. I just think that it was too soon for Terry and it was too soon for me. And had the label taken care of us in the first place, had our producers taken care of us in the first place, none of us would be looking to do a solo album right away. Terry only took it because she probably needed the money as well. And it was in their favor because it was a divide and conquer. We have Terry over here with us. So Terry, Cindy, I'm sorry, Cindy, Maxine, Dawn, you guys are on your own because we're doing this with Terry. You feel me? So it divided the group, and it had Terry in another, like she thought she was better than. It's kind of how I felt. I know she didn't think that, but I kind of felt like, wow, they don't give a shit about Maxine and I. They don't care about Cindy. You know what I mean? They just go on and do a Terry's thing on her own. And I'm like, wow. So when they came to me to do the same thing, I was like, well, to hell with them. They didn't hold Terry accountable for doing a solo album. I'm not going to tell them either. It wasn't right. It was not right at all. And I regret that. That's probably the only thing that I regret about leaving. So that they pulled me out of the studio. I stopped recording, and I told Sylvia, I said, you got to let me go as a solo artist. So I left. I started talking to Dr. Dre about a deal, but I was still in the studio with En Vogue. So we broke ground, as they say. We started to record that fourth album. We were probably 2 songs away from the album being done. And Sylvia called a meeting. She flew into Los Angeles to meet with us. I would rather have gone to New York to meet with her, but she came to meet with us. It's cheaper for her to come to us than it was for 4 of us to go to her. Plus, we had our managers, and I knew it was going to be a creative meeting. When I got to the meeting, it was in Terry's room at the hotel. When I got to the meeting, it was our attorneys were there. This is supposed to be a creative meeting. Why are they were sitting in the corner, so that's why I'm looking that way, because they were there in that room in the corner. Why are and I couldn't talk because when I walked in the room, I was already late for the meeting. I'm always late, so it's probably a good half hour Too late. I was awful about getting there on time. Terrible. But even getting on stage, I'm like laughing so much and having fun and singing that it takes me forever, and I got to finish my makeup real quick to get on stage. Dawn is always late. But I looked and I was like, why are our attorneys here? That's not right. This is a creative meeting. You guys have no place here. So what are you doing here? And Sylvia was talking when I walked in, and somebody else over there, so it was our managers, our attorneys, Sylvia Rohn, and the four of us. So it was probably about 9, 10 people, 12 people. And I looked over and I saw that there were a lot of plates there. And I was like, they were here longer than a half hour.
Oh.
Thank you. They were there before me. And Maxine claims, well, Dawn, you're always late. That's why. Yeah, I was late. But you guys had plates that were in that room for a lot longer than 30 minutes. So, no.
Right.
Come on. And it took you had to order and then wait for your food. And then, so it should have been still, you guys should have, if you ordered food while you were there, you should have still been eating when I walked in. Come on.
Right.
It was only 30 minutes, not even. So about 22 minutes, roughly. And, okay, so Sylvia says to me, so Dawn, I was talking to the girls and I was telling them nobody can have a hidden agenda in this group. Because Atlantic Records is getting behind you guys now, and we're putting a lot of money and energy and blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking as I go along what she said, because all of the words, as I've been doing this interview so many times, Joe, that all of it is coming back. But yeah, she's like, so, you know, in the record company, we have a big plan. We have big plans for you guys on this album. And I said, so what about the other albums? You didn't have big plans for Funky Divas album? Born to Sing album, Runaway, like, why do I have to believe, what makes me want to believe that you guys have our backs now when you should have had our backs day one?
Right. I
don't understand. And she said something else, and then I said, but Terry did, so she said nobody can have hidden agendas. And I was like, but Terry did a solo album, and Sylvia, you know that I did a solo album with you. But because you didn't want to do my solo album, I walked away and I had my solo rights to someplace else. But I have been at the studio every single day singing with you guys. I haven't missed a day. I've been there every day. I recorded what became the EB3 album. I recorded, and I started naming the song. So far, I recorded Right Direction, Too Gone, Too Long. What else was on that album? Whatever. The song was called Whatever by Babyface. I was like, I've been in the studio with you guys. I haven't missed a day. And so now you're acting like I've done something wrong. What I'm doing as a solo artist, because I had a deal on the table and I may have even signed it with Dr. Dre, but that didn't, I told Dr. Dre, or whoever I was, it was really, Aftermath. He wanted me to sign Aftermath, and I told him, your label is too new, and you're my producer, and you are my label, and that is a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So if there's something wrong with me creatively with you as a producer, I have to go back to you as a label and say, hey, Dr. Dre, I don't like the song that you did for me. You know what I mean? I can't have him as my producer and my label. So I wanted to sign, my manager suggested that I sign to Interscope. But that album was on hold until I was done with En Vogue. Once I'm done with that En Vogue album and I'm finished recording with the girls, because that's the priority, and they knew that.
Yeah.
That's when I can start my solo album. And he was like, okay, whenever you're ready, because he was already working on other people anyway. He was working on Eminem, his first album, King T. He had a lot of projects on the table, so he's like, okay, cool. I can finish up what I'm doing anyway. I got to focus. Eminem, as we know, was a huge album. So he was busy and not really ready to get in the studio with me anyway. So it was like, okay. So I said in that meeting, I said, nothing that I have done has divided or put a damper on or caused any kind of friction with the En Vogue album. You guys didn't even know that I was doing a solo album because I've been here every day, recording with you guys in the studio every single day. Like I said, I might be late by 20 minutes or so, but I'm not, you know, I show up every day, even if it's not me singing on that song that day. I'm here. So why are you telling me now that I have a hidden agenda? It has, my album, my solo project has not affected En Vogue in a negative way at all.
Exactly.
Not even a little bit. So why are you saying that you got a problem with me doing a solo project? And she said, well, we have to have everybody focused on this record. She's from New York, so she's very, very New York. Manhattan at that. We have to have everybody's focus on this record and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I am focused on this record. You know that I'm focused on this record. I have been in the Cindy, and nobody said anything. Cindy was sitting straight across from me, and then Sylvia was sitting to her left. I'm sorry, to her right. Terry was sitting on the end of the couch. And instead of sitting like regular, facing me and Maxine, because me and Maxine were over here. I came through the door was right behind me. And when I came in, I had to sit right here. This is where they planted me, because they had a little chair sitting waiting for me, like a stool. Yeah, they had a stool. So when I came in, I couldn't go over there and sit there or sit there. I couldn't choose where. But Maxine was to my right. And so Terry, Sylvia, sorry, it was Terry sitting this way on the couch facing Cindy. Cindy was facing me. I'm trying to do my hands like everybody's sitting. Yeah. Cindy was facing me. Sylvia was facing me. One of the managers was on the end of the couch. That's how big the couch was. And then a chair for the other manager. And then our attorneys were in the corner, and they were sitting on chairs. And I don't know why Terry was sitting facing, it's like instead of me facing you, I face this way.
Oh, that was a setup.
Actually, it was this way. So she was facing Sylvia and Cindy and Sylvia on the couch. I was like,
that was a setup.
Why are you sitting like that? Like, little kids usually sit like that. And your mother tells you, get your ass down. Get down from there. Because you shouldn't be sitting on the arm of the couch. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. And she wasn't even facing us. She was facing them. And I said, Sylvia, you know that I've done the solo album. Oh, you know that I have the solo album on the books, but I haven't even started yet. I've been in the studio with En Vogue every single day. So what makes, and she said, I understand that, but we can't have any hidden agendas. I said, I don't have a hidden agenda.
Right.
Terry did a solo album too. What makes Terry's solo album different? Terry turned to me. Now she turned around because she's sitting this way. She turned around. She said, Dawn, it just is. It's just different. That's all. It's just different. It just is.
No.
I was like, what? Okay, hold on now. Hold on. I just don't, I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Maxine didn't have my back. Cindy didn't have, because they should have been saying the same thing.
Right.
Dawn is absolutely freaking right. Terry, you know what I mean? Why are you doing a solo? You did a solo album, and Dawn is doing the same thing. If we're going to kick anybody out, it's going to be your ass, because you did the first solo album.
Yeah.
Dawn has been here to record the third or the fourth album with us. She's been here every single day. So we're not going to kick Dawn out. We're going to kick you out, Terry, because you're the one who actually did a solo album, and you left the group to do it. Because it wasn't an En Vogue album. It was supposed to be. Like I said, we all agreed that we weren't going to go to the studio. We were going to sit it out until we were going to hold out, like they do when they, you know how when the garbage department, the sanitation department says we're going to strike?
Yeah.
We went on strike. That's exactly, that's the right way to put it. We went on strike. And we said we were not going in the studio until they give us what we want. We were renegotiating for better terms. Terry went in the studio and started her solo album, and that squashed everything that we had planned. So when they came to me to do the same thing, I said, the hell with Cindy and Maxine. You guys didn't hold Terry accountable for doing her solo album, because we should have been in Terry's ass about that. Terry, you're in the studio. We have all agreed on one thing, and here you are doing another. So they didn't hold her accountable, and that's why I felt like I didn't have to tell Maxine and Cindy anything. I'm doing a solo album, so what? Then when the record company came back and said, Dawn, I should be recording this because some of this stuff needs to go in my book. But you have it recorded, right?
Yes.
Good. So
and I will send you the link after I post it.
Exactly. There's some stuff that I'm remembering as I talk. Every single time I do an interview, I remember stuff. But this is really good today. Thank you, Joe. So I said to them, when we were walking out, Sylvia was putting on her coat because she had a flight to get back to New York. She said, so we need to know what you're going to do. And I was like, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't really decide this. I got to pray on this. I got to talk to my mom. Like, this is a huge decision for me. Like, you want me to tell you if I'm going to be in En Vogue or not right this minute? Like, now I have to answer you right. I said, well, if that's what you want an answer from me, I'll say yes. I'm out of the group. Because we've been together for 8 years now, and now all of a sudden you guys as a label say to us that you have our backs. Really? It's been 8 freaking years. There's an example. I'm going to cut into this a little bit, and then I'll come back. An example that I give of the Beatles. The Beatles were 4 guys together for 8 years. 8 years. We were 4 girls together for 8 years. In the time that the Beatles were together, they did 21 or 22 albums. And then they had a record company called Apple Records. In the time that En Vogue was together, we did 3 albums. We didn't start a record label. We didn't do anything outside of the group at all. And I kept asking them, let's start a record company, our own production company. No, it's too much work. Cindy, her and I would always talk about that. It's too much work. Let's create a girl group, some little girls just like us, like what's his name had from Belle Biv DeVoe. Michael Bivins had the little kids group that he had. And I was like, let's do that. You know, who better to do a girl group than En Vogue?
En Vogue.
And Cindy again was like, it's too much work. Oh no, we can't. But can't.